Welcome back to the Empty Netters Puck Line News. We are live here on Monday morning. We've got so many games to talk about. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, absolute madness. And I think the biggest thing to talk about here is that people are saying this is the greatest first round in recent memory in Stanley Cup playoffs.
And well, I think maybe you said this and I completely blacked out, but we're presented by BetMGM.
We are.
I did. And great, good. That means I'm not blacked out Monday morning,
which is not. I'm blacked out.
Yeah, which is not always a guarantee. And this is our first Monday with a weekend. Yeah. Every puck line we've done is one night of games.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's just rip into it. I'm exhausted just thinking about what happened since I walked out of here Friday afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, we have no time to waste. We've got so much to talk about. Right off the bat, I think we start with Stars-Avs series. Basically, folks, we are going to go through every single series because from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all the teams played. So much has changed. Moods have switched.
Yeah, dude.
Things are absolutely out of control. Shit has hit the fan, starting with the Stars-Avs.
And everybody can see the ticker. This is the way we're going to go down it.
Yeah.
Chat, jump in. I'm going to try to monitor it as much as possible. As we rip through it, we'll get to questions you're firing in there. So the series we're talking about, let it rip. Stars-Avs, Dan. I don't know how you don't start with Landy scoring a goal.
I mean, of course. What's funny is we'll say we saw the Stars go up and it looked sketchy for Colorado. But I said, I think they were too horny. I think it was so emotional getting Landy back. They were like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then they lose that game in his return. But then you get the nerves out. You're able to shake it off a little bit. And they come in with an emphatic 4-0 win. And Landy scores. Holy shit.
It was so awesome. Let's just start with the goal. It was so awesome because hell of a play by Brock. Firing up the wing.
Looking like a young
Landy,
man. Dude,
Landy finding
like
space too.
Man.
It's Landy the vet, dude. Just because you haven't skated in 3 years doesn't mean you don't remember how to find space on the ice. Boom, slot. Nelson finds him, one touch, and then an absolute rip job.
A little half clapper.
It was so funny to me to watch people realize who scored. Like, he scored, and people were like, yeah. And then they were like, oh.
I know.
And everybody went crazy. I almost wish that I know it's a playoff game, so there's no universe where this happens. But I was legitimately thinking we deserved an OV stop the game situation. Like, I was like, everybody pause, dude.
Seriously. Like, it could have been a situation where everyone just stops and we acknowledge what just happened. No doubt about it. For me, this was the first, you could argue game one, but this was a shit kicking kind of.
Yes.
First period, pretty even in goals, but Colorado gets a 2-0 lead. And then after that, I'm pretty sure shots were insane after that. Yeah, it was shots were 22-5 in the second period. And then 14-7 in the third.
They almost had 50 shots.
Colorado had 48 shots on net, 4-0 win. This was a response. We've seen a few times in numerous series here where a team needs a big response. This was a huge response. I feel like going into this game, there were some Colorado fans, whether you guys want to admit it or not, who were sweating a little bit. And they were like, holy shit, like, is this Dallas team much better than us? Can we handle this team? And this was a massive fuck you game for the Avs where they showed we're not tired. We've got great players. Blackwood can be a star for us. And yeah, you get a 4-0 win in just a bloodbath of a game.
I think the time, well, because we had said, remember, it was like Colorado hasn't protected home ice against Dallas. They've lost 3 straight or 4 straight, I think it was, going into this. This was following the same exact script as last time. If you lose that game, you are in a very bad way.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're literally dead, but you're in a very bad way. And I think part of me feels like the extra time between game 3 and 4, because sometimes the schedule just breaks that way. The Avalanche were ready to reset, figure it out. And yeah, man, they had jump in a way I haven't seen. And Blackwood I think they were like first career playoff shutout. But I was like, I think this is like his 4th career playoff game. So like whatever. But point is, that's the guy, right? Like, that's the guy that they were like, we didn't turn our regular season around, but that's the guy we brought in to
he certainly helped.
Like, big time.
He kind of did.
Big time. But yeah, I think they were probably like in 3rd before they got him too, you know? But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the guy they got who showed something, and then he did this in the playoffs. And that is a dude, obviously you got a shutout, but that is a dude you can win a cup with. That guy I just saw in net is a dude you can win a cup with.
Yes. The person you just saw in that game, for sure. And that's what you need. You know, when you have a guy in that that you don't know you can win a cup
Mhm.
with based on his previous stats and his pedigree. Like you said, you don't have any playoff stats. It's nice to see a game like that for sure. What did you think about the Otter yank?
Okay, dude, that's what I really want to get into. And some people are talking about that in the chat right now. Some satellite blue, because the fact that Otter's still breathing is an achievement. Dude, I don't like a pulse, really. We talk about this all the time. When he came out,
which is fucked because you're big on protect our goalies.
I know, protect their egos though.
Not
protect them mentally.
That's a big difference. Dude. Protect ego is different than saying protect their mental health.
So here's DeBoer was, I was worried he was hurt first. I was like, holy shit, something happened. And then DeBoer came out and he was like, I was just trying to get him rest. It was 3-0, I think, or something.
It was
going
3-0
into
after 2, but he did just get a Vietnam onslaught of shots. Like he'd seen a full game worth of shots after the second period. So, but I'm with you. Down 3-0. I'm like, you don't think you have a chance maybe at battling back? Like, don't you want to keep your star goalie in that?
That game was so not out of hand that I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. Yeah. So for me, I'm like, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what conversations are being had. Maybe in between periods, I highly doubt it because Otter's a dog and wants to play every game. But maybe in between periods, he was like, yo, I'm gassed. Yeah. And he was like, oh, if that's the case, 1,000% get him out immediately. Get him out yesterday. Yeah. But I just doubt it. And I would have erred on see more shots. I just don't need any of that random, whatever it is, mental bulletin board material where the Avs get to go, we got to him, dude. Got to him. See that? Otter's out. Like that's a bump. That's a boost. So I just probably wouldn't have given him that if I was Dallas and DeBoer, unless he literally asked for it.
I found it weird. It did feel like one of those games was just the way the ice was tilted again. 22 shots in a fucking period's out of control.
Crazy.
And I suppose my answer would be you've lost that game. I think if you're Dallas, the way that second period goes, it's 3-0. You're like, okay, Colorado's all over us on home ice. They're not losing this game. So it's, I've said a few times, if you can get your goalie some extra rest, I got no problem with that. But it did feel a little strange to me. The big question here is, where is the pressure now in this series? 2-2, not necessarily in the way that we would have thought, but, you get a win on away ice. If you're Colorado, then you lose 2. You lose your first at home with Landy back, but then you get this win. It's now all tied up. Dallas has the favor in home ice, right? Mm-hmm. But who do you think has the edge in this series?
It's so weird to me that you had said that all the pressure's on Colorado now because everyone's going to go, did you lose that series after winning game 1 in Dallas and being up in game 2 in Dallas, and Dallas is missing their 2 stars or 2 of their stars?
Yeah.
And I had the thought when it's now 2-2 where I'm kind of wondering that Dallas now is going to go, if they to lose the series, they're going to go, did we blow this? Because we stole home ice back. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know if these guys are going to play, but it looks like Miro's getting closer. That I'm like, if you took home ice back and kind of felt like going into this game, you were in the driver's seat and Otter's playing like we've all asked Otter to play, I'm almost now thinking Dallas is going to kick themselves if they don't win this series.
Yeah.
Best of 3 with 2 at home.
But again, you're missing those guys.
I know.
And someone asked us in our DMs, do you bring back a 50% Miro? I'm always so no on that because I think it's so disrespectful to your other players.
I know.
Like the players that you scratch, you're like, a half his ability Miro is so much better than you that you can't play.
But sometimes that's true though.
Sometimes
literally.
But it's tough. I mean, to me, I actually think that this series has had a big reset. I don't think there's pressure on anybody now. I think that now we're in a best of 3. Dallas has home ice. Let's see what happens.
Dan Tyler says Otter 14-6 in games after a loss in playoffs. Good stat poll right there.
Yeah.
Good stat poll.
And that's why you give him more rest. That's why DeBoer's the coach and you're not.
Yep. Yeah. So true. So tricky one. You still got Colorado, obviously.
Yeah. I mean,
in 7.
Colorado's who I picked, but in 7. Yeah.
You had 6 though?
I think I might have.
But I mean, they could if they win game 5. Then they go home.
But to me now, it feels like 7. It feels like this is going to be a rope-a-dope back and forth for sure.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable stuff. People are saying Blackwood and Otter have been 2 of the best goalies in the playoffs, which I actually agree with. It's been a really good goalie battle. By the way, Colorado didn't totally well, that wasn't guaranteed. They didn't totally expect that they were going to be able to go toe to toe with Dallas's goalie, and that fact that they have that is really good.
Yeah, no question about it. And yeah, I mean, it's hilarious that Otter gets pulled after 2 periods, but he had 34 shots against a .912 save percentage. Like that is an onslaught, my friends.
Dan, what do you think about this real quick, tangentially to the series? But Amber says everyone hated the playoff format for not being 1-8, but this first round has been absolute cinema. Every single series is perfection, and I don't disagree with that.
No, well, that's the thing. It's a great comment by Amber, but we've said all the time, it doesn't the way the format is doesn't lead to bad matchups. It leads to electric stuff, but it sucks that we get these so early and then it's gone.
I want Western Conference Finals.
I do think that last year we saw so many first round matchups that I was like, that was the best matchup of the playoffs. Like, I'd rather the best ones later.
Yeah.
Not early. That's, I think, the big difference.
Tyler says DeBoer has never lost a game 7, and I cannot believe that's true. Tyler, if that's true, please tell me which game 7s they won. But that's an awesome poll because I don't want anything to do with him in game 7 if that's a fact.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm pretty sure that is true, but it's also one of those things where, like, yeah, but he's lost a lot of games 5s and 6s that he shouldn't have lost. So it's one of those, good, but whatever. Okay, let's shift on. We've got so much to cover here. We're going to kick it to the Devils-Canes series. So
we missed 2 games in this series. Happened over the weekend. Yep.
2 games in this series on Friday.
Yeah.
We got a double OT barn burner. Devils get their first win. 3-2. Jacob Markstrom, clutch.
Yep.
Huge. Freddie Anderson, also amazing. 2 great goals. Again, I think also 2 goals who have been really, really strong.
So I got to say, in that game we had, and actually I apologize to the chat and everyone at home for not sharing this earlier, but in that game, Dan and I were cooking up a little parlay, and we had, we teased the over under to 4.5. So over 4.5, Canes money line and Bratt 3 shots. And before the game, literally before the game, I will show my text. I was like this, I got Canes 3-2 in overtime in this game. So everything's going to hit because Bratt's going to get 80 minutes of gameplay and it's all going to work. Bratt gets his 3rd shot in overtime. So needed the extra juice, and it's literally 2-2. And I was like, this is the most sharp action in the history of gambling. And then obviously the fucking Devils win the only game they're going to win all series. God damn it, dude.
But that was a great fight by the Devils at the Rock. Nemec with the double OT winner.
Yep.
It's
happy for him, dude.
Some stat of like, I think it might be like the youngest Devils OT winner of all time, which is sick.
Very sick.
But great to see him playing, getting on the score sheet. But that was a huge win. I think the Devils needed that. I believe I picked this one, Canes in 5. Did you go sweep?
I think I said, I can't remember. I mean, I either said 5 or 4, but yeah.
This series, however, it's tough because this series in a lot of ways has felt like the most boring series. And that's not to say anything bad about these 2 teams. It's more to talk about the fact that the Canes are just very, very strong and they're playing very well. We've got great goalies on both sides, but more importantly, the Devils are hobbled, obviously, without your best player. Luke Hughes goes down. We just kind of felt like, this was going to be whatever. Yeah. But to deliver that game 3 electric double OT was awesome.
Was absolutely awesome. And you love to see the home fans get one.
Awesome. But then moving on to the next game, this one was that sort of calm performance that we've seen. I feel like it was like, you go up 3-0 as the Canes, and then Devils claw it back to 3-2. But then in the 3rd period, Burnsy gets on, then Svetch gets the empty net, puts this one to bed. But the big discussion in this game is your boy Freddie Iceberg leaves the game.
I was about to say this was the fear, but no, this isn't the fear because you don't expect to just get run into. The fear was that, like, I was just concerned about Freddie in general, dude. Top to bottom, concerned about Freddie. Yeah. The play, dude. Timo's cutting backdoor. I think it was Svetch in front of him. Like, Timo's just trying to get in front of him. He hits him for sure. In real time, it was a strange one because they call it a major, but they always do that so they can automatically review it. They call it a major, they overturn it. Rod the Bod after the game is being like, he's pissed. He's like, I can't believe that's not a penalty, whatever. But I was kind of like, it didn't look that bad. But then Freddie leaves. Like, if you're going to sell it, I don't mind a sell job, honestly. I don't want anyone flopping out there, but I don't mind a little bit of embellishment.
Yeah.
But if you're not actually hurt, then you just get up and play. Like, you try to embellish to get the call, and then if you don't get it, or even if you do get it, then you get up. But the fact that Freddie was like, I'm done for the game.
Yeah.
in a not important game. If they were up 3-0, then who cares? Like, you can lose
For
this
sure.
one. It's 2-1, dude. Like, you can't go 2-2 here. And that's Freddie Iceberg. We need him. And he just doesn't come back. So that makes me think it's something. Like, somebody was like, he can't go. Whether it's team doc check, all that shit.
Yep.
And if it's a concussion or whatever, that can get really tricky, because if they just keeps not passing protocol, you literally can't.
Yeah.
It's not like a tough it out thing. His groin hurts.
Yeah.
And Koch played good. Koch played good all season, but I'm like, that is a massive dent in the Canes' chances in certainly moving forward. But even in this series, they're going to win the series either way, I think. But that is not surmountable if you're the Canes, if he's actually like done.
Yeah, I think, you can, if Kochetkov is your goalie moving forward in this series, I think they still win for sure. Honestly, I think they probably still win in 5. Anderson and Kochetkov is such an interesting tandem.
I know,
because they're not, I wouldn't put them up on par with tandems like, Shesterkin and Georgiev from a few years ago, obviously Sway and Ullmark, but like, they're both solid. And I feel like the boys feel very confident with Kochetkov in net. But yeah, losing Anderson is just like not what you want in the slightest.
Yeah.
It's been weird how many injuries to the goalies we've seen.
I know,
these playoffs. Guys are just bowling into goalies. It's fucking out of control. This series for us, however, is, I hate to keep saying it, but it did just feel like the Devils ran into too many injuries. They ran into a long season with young players. At times this season, it felt like maybe they'll go to the Cup, but they're still so young. And I think the Canes are too much. I think this is exactly what we said. I think it's going to be 5 games and Bob's your uncle. We're out of here.
Yeah, me too. And honestly, they want it because, and we'll get to Caps Habs in a second, but I kind of hate when the team I'm going to play next has a different length series than me. I don't care if we both go 7. I don't care if we both go 4 or 5, but it's like, let's just be on the same page here.
Yeah.
And if the Caps aren't going to play with their food, then if you're the Canes, you can't play with yours either. So I think that's really important. Also, maybe it buys you a little bit of extra rest time if Freddie Iceberg is a little banged up. Maybe there's a couple days before the next series starts and you're like, whatever, I need all that. Dan, Declan says, am I the only one that thinks the Canes should just be scribbled into the conference finals? I don't think the Caps or Habs could match them. I was kind of that opinion too coming into this, because I kept saying it was that Oilers thing. I was like, oh, they have this interesting path. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. I think I don't think you're the only one who thinks that, but I stand by. I think it is crazy how people keep counting out Washington.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, I think that's it, right? It's like all they would have to beat is the winner of Washington and Habs to get there. So I think it's crazy to count out Washington, but I understand the thought process.
Yeah,
is what I'll say.
And then we have another one in here, Alec, just asking about that potential matchup. Feels like the Caps Habs have been way more physical than Devils Canes. I would agree with that for sure.
Definitely.
And part of that's just because Washington's a heavy team. We talk to Logan about that all the time.
You're also, this is no disrespect to the Canes fan base or the Devils fan base, but I do think the energy in Washington, Montreal has been way higher. Too.
Hell yes.
Like this, obviously it's the Bell Center, dude.
Yep.
It is always going to be what it is. And I think if you get past this Montreal team, like it looks like Washington is likely going to, we'll get into that in a second. The Canes are going to come into Washington and they're going to be pumped full of adrenaline. Like they just got fucking a Toradol shot to the neck.
Yeah.
And they're going to be like, oh my God, this series is way more intense. And you always make the argument, like, did they get too banged up? But after round 1, I don't think so. And there's a chance Washington takes care of this in 5 too, So
yeah.
like, whatever. So yeah, I think the pace of Washington, Montreal has been way higher than Carolina, New Jersey.
There's some people in here being like, and it's split in the chat of who's going to win that series if we get there. But some people are talking about LT a lot, being like, he's going to outclass the Canes goalies. And honestly, if I'm a Canes fan, I think that's my biggest fear, is that's exactly what happened last year. I thought the Canes were better than that Rangers team, and just Shesterkin played better than the goalies in Carolina. And they were like, now we lose.
100%.
And if you play Washington and LT just plays great, and Freddie's hurt, or you don't get quite round 1 Freddie, then you will lose again. And you will go, yet again, we were the better team in the playoffs and can't get over the hump.
Yeah. Crazy.
Fucking nightmare.
Moving on to what we keep alluding to, one of the more electric series going, Habs, Caps. We've got 2 games.
2 games.
And starting with the Friday game, first playoff game in the Bell Center in a long time with a full crowd.
Yeah. Good caveat.
And what a fucking tilt it was,
dude.
That place, man, I don't think it can be stated enough. We've got a lot of different outlets that have covered it. A lot of our great friends in the game who work for TNT, ESPN, whatever, pointing out how loud that barn was. The Bell Center was fucking shaking to its studs in that first game. And I don't know that you can ask for better action to start that game. I mean, you go and we've got Washington on the board first. You get McMichael, but then Montreal ties it up. Then Suzuki gives them the lead. Chychrun gets his first to tie it up. Then Caulfield gets on the board, giving them the lead back. And then Ovi ties it in the third. There was just so much back and forth. And then, to me, what set this thing off was the bench brawl.
Yeah.
The bench brawl to end the period. You get Wilson and Anderson absolutely tossing on the bench. The refs in the middle of everything. We get a great moment where Ryan Leonard and Lane Hudson are just holding hands.
Yeah.
Literally, literally just a couple of buds holding hands, watching this fight go down. But at first, it felt to me, here's a big one for me. The Habs getting into the playoffs, I have said a million times, and I stand by it, was a win in itself.
Agree.
If they lose this series, it doesn't mean shit. This team is so ahead of schedule. They are so fucking fun to watch. And I say that as a person who was baptized in the hate of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
But like looking at that team, being like, fuck this team, blah, 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 blah. And here I am going, I absolutely love watching this team play. I love all of their players. It feels like every time Suzuki scores, Cole scores. Like that what a fun package. The mountain climbers in Super Smash Bros. Like, they just
so
gotta
good.
do stuff together. Seeing these guys play is so much fun, but this game set off the bad blood. And I'll tell you this, and I say this with love, it reminds us all that Habs fans, especially in that arena, you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, just really mortifying stuff. The way you see some of these guys, like there is a clip of Tom Wilson against the glass, and some dad in a jersey with his young kid next to him is screaming obscenities at, like, he's like, "You fucking prick cocksucker, I fucking hope your whole family dies." And I'm like, your kid is right next to you.
He's teaching him the ways,
Like,
dude. He's teaching him the way. The kid had his little notepad out. He's like, "What was it, Dad? Motherfucking cocksucker."
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes, son. Good job."
It's insane. And yeah, this game, this is what set it all off. We had the Tom Wilson crybaby mocking face, and so many fans on Twitter. Like, I tweeted out, I was like, how can you not love Tom Wilson? And the Habs fans were like, pretty fucking easily. So this is the game that set all of the energy off in a big way.
Yep. Couple awesome things here, Dan. And if someone asking if we've been to the Bell Center, we've been many times, and don't forget we were there for 4 Nations, and that was one of the loudest things I've ever heard. I told that story about the usher being like, "This is like absolutely bedlam" when McDavid scored. Someone, Leonardo's chiming in from Italy, which is amazing.
Hell
Huge
yeah,
shouts
Leo.
to him, watching as much playoffs as he can. That's incredible. The complaining that's been going on about officiating a bit in this series is frustrating to me because the energy is so high otherwise, and it's been such a brawl, a street fight at times, that I'm kind of like, just go, let that happen. Let's be a part of this and fucking do it. I give Washington honestly some credit in that game, because that felt like a game where you get run because you're like, well, the Habs fans are crazy. We lost game 3 6-1, but then we'll win game 4 and it's fine.
Yeah.
And obviously they did end up losing 6-3, but it was like, Ovi tied that. There was no quit in that Washington team in a very hostile environment.
Totally.
So I thought that was actually a really good response, despite Montreal fans getting everything they wanted in that game, which I'm happy about. They deserve. I think we both, maybe I said 4 or 5, but I was like, I hope Montreal gets 1 just for the crowd.
I think I said 6 because I just said they were going to be so torqued up. But a big one in this game is Logan Thompson.
Exactly. That's the big.
We'll get into the injury, but even before that, when it was 3-3, borderline every goal was brutal from the cat. Like, guys were turning it over and fucking over LT to no end. And I tweeted, I was like, dude, Logan Thompson is getting sewered by his own teammates, and he's just keeping them in this game somehow. And then, speaking of getting sewered by your own teammates, Dylan Strome pulverizes Logan Thompson, and he leaves the game. That was spooky. I also said something online of, I don't care who you root for. Watching the way LT left the ice was awful.
Dan,
Like, it was like,
it literally makes no sense. Like, I thought his skate blade might have got knocked off, even the way he was like his left leg or one of those legs was in the air. I was like, this is fucked, dude.
Yeah, that was out of control. We were obviously worried for him. He comes out of the game. Montreal gets that huge win. But going into the next game yesterday, great to see LT come back. He's playing. Looks like he just got shaken up on that play. Everything all good. But the bad blood was heavy, dude. It was rich. It was a rich Alfredo sauce. People hating on Tom Wilson. This game goes crazy again. Washington gets on the board first with Stromer getting a goal, but then Slav and Cole take the lead. But after that, it was all caps.
It was a charge by the Tom Wilson freight train.
And I will tell you what, dude. We got to get into this in a big way. Tom Wilson, who, so many people were like, Tom Wilson's rattled. We're in his head, blah, blah, blah. Tom Wilson lays one of the best hits you'll ever see. Yep. And I'm curious what the chat is going to say here. Guys, if you don't like that Tom Wilson hit, you don't like hockey. Yep. That was a no charging, no targeting, wasn't late, shoulder to shoulder, clean fucking hit that completely changed the game and directly led to a goal and thus the win for the Capitals.
Yep.
And there are people who are going to freeze frame a clip where the head is like into his shoulder. You guys need to understand momentum.
Yeah.
It's the same with the leaving your feet thing.
Yep.
It's like if I hit you, let's do an
do
example.
Do it.
If I hit you shoulder to shoulder and I get the momentum, your head is oftentimes going to turn into my shoulder because your body's going to go like this and then like that. And that's the freeze frame people keep getting. Man, that hit is fucking clean and it's awesome. And that's hockey. And it's certainly playoff hockey.
So Dan, a lot of people asking about it because Declan's like, my buddy hated it. Declan didn't see an issue. I got a couple Habs fans in here being like, I'm a Habs fan. It's a clean hit. One question that I actually think is interesting is, since Carrier couldn't get up, the puck goes back into the Caps zone, and there's a chance it could have been blown dead because they're like, he's down, and now the puck's back in the D zone with no threat. So they're like, okay, blow the whistle. That's actually a reasonable question. It's playoffs. I'm glad they got it. It's a reasonable question,
but this isn't peewee fucking hockey.
Of course, but like they blow it dead sometimes if a guy can't get up.
Yeah, but if he's on the ice and looks like he's dead, like if he's going full
if he's
rigor mortis,
posturing,
maybe.
Yeah.
But if it's just like, dude, you just got rocked. That was a clean hit, and now you're down. That's part of the fucking game. And player safety is the most important thing. You always want to make sure guys are okay. But to me, that wasn't one that was like, oh my God, someone just got popped in the dome. Like that's when you stop the game immediately. But yeah, no, I mean, I get it. It's a factor. But again, it was a clean hit. I don't even know what to say here. Like,
and what do you think about, someone said, I'll try to find it again. Someone says, I just hate that nobody tried to go against Wilson after. And I know you hate like the fight for the clean hit, but I actually think since people do that all the time, I might have liked to have seen a little spark from the Habs there. Change the whole game.
While I hear that, yes, you said I hate that, and I'll tell you why I hate that. And by the way, that's a great comment.
It is a great comment.
If you're a fan
of the Habs,
you're like, dude, fight him. My take on that is, I always say hits are on the stat sheet. It's a part of the fucking game, and that was a clean hit that led to a scoring opportunity. So it's almost like a cheat code. If you're the Habs and you're like, we need to stop the game and drop the gloves, I would have lost my shit if I'm the Caps, because I'm like, we have possession.
Yeah.
That was a clean hit. The game should not be stopping. And those are the times where I'm like, if you do that, that is a power play for Washington and you're thrown out of the game. Because I'm like, it's like, to me, it's the same thing as like covering the puck in the crease. I'm like, dude, that's bullshit.
Minus the toss, I agree with you. I'd be like, penalty for instigating. But I honestly think they would, well, obviously since they scored, but even ignoring the goal, I think you would have taken the PK there just to be like, all right, we got popped. Send the message. I'll serve two happily.
For sure.
Settle everyone down.
I don't like that precedent.
Yeah.
I don't like the precedent of like, your player gets rocked. And not that a power play goal is guaranteed, But like your player gets rocked cleanly and it looks like you're in a bad spot. So you're like, I'm just going to start a fight because the game will stop. Like it's like knocking the net off. You know what I mean?
A lot of comments about the OV hit too. Some people being like, it's dirty. Some people being like, dude, that he wasn't even trying to hit him. And someone said, if you've seen OV hit somebody, you'd know he wasn't trying to hit him. I am actually on that side of it. I agree. I think that was unlucky timing and space, and OV isn't out there trying to hurt anybody. He's also not that type of player. And there was another one in here I wanted to say. Someone says, what do you think about Cooper says, what do you think about Hudson's game? Love Hudson's game, but that was such a brutal turnover with the empty net. Like, you just got to be, I mean, he's so poised all the time, but I was like, got to be a little bit quicker there.
Yeah. To me, it's like this kid has surpassed every single expectation all season long, to the point where he is a rookie and he is, I believe, probably in the category of one of the best defensemen in the game.
Yep.
Are there going to be growing pains in the playoffs? Yes. And to me, what he does with the puck, and listen, you're down 4-2 already at that point. If you have a turnover in a situation where you desperately need a goal, you want the puck on his stick. Sometimes you're going to turn it over. So not mad at that at all. I think he's just such a phenomenal player.
Yep, absolutely correct. Matt says youngest team in NHL, future's bright in Montreal. Agree. And Spencer says fighting off clean hit is overdone at this point, which you love. So
thanks.
Shout Spencer.
Love that. Moving on, staying up in Canada, Battle of Ontario, Leafs Sens. Ottawa finally gets an OT break their way.
Finally gets a bounce.
They get on the board. Toronto was up 3-0 in the series. Ottawa forces a game 5. This is going to be a recurring thing here on Puckline News and the podcast, but I need to wear this for a minute.
Pop it on, Dan.
Hey, folks. I'm the guy that picked Sens in 7.
It's 6, I thought.
No, are you high?
I think you said 6.
No, I fucking didn't. Don't be an idiot. I'm wearing a clown nose.
I'm going to look that up.
I'm wearing a clown nose. You don't need to make it sound worse. I picked them in 7, and they went down 3-0. Now,
it's still alive.
Still
Sens
alive.
in 7 still alive.
I'm a man of honor.
Yeah.
Because I could be like, they won one.
Yeah.
But I don't look great right now because this could be over in 5. But I'll say this. Brady Tkachuk referenced the Boston Red Sox.
Yep.
And
don't let us win one.
They get a win.
Don't let us win one.
They get a win. My question for you is, we dogged Rod Brindamore a bunch for being like, that didn't feel like a sweep. A bunch of games went into OT a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. What do you think about this team? Like, Ottawa gets an OT win, and they lost an OT the game before.
And the game before that.
Like, this series could be 3-1 the other way.
Yep.
So do you think this is Toronto making it a little hard on themselves, or is Ottawa actually battling back and they've got a shot to even this up?
A couple things
here. Do I
here.
have to wear this the whole time?
Yes. A couple things here. There is, I cannot fathom a more Leafs thing than blowing a 3-0 series lead to Ottawa. So, like, it's in such a weird way, the Leafs, with all their misery and curse, have set themselves up for an even worse. Like they've created, by going up 3-0 and doing everything they were supposed to do, they created a worst case scenario that I can't even begin to comprehend.
Yeah.
So that would be a nightmare. But no, Dan, a lot of Ottawa fans in the chat saying what you just said, basically, where it's like Leafs got a lot of puck luck. They could have gone overtime. Hockey could go either way, Yeah. But I feel like I've said this every time we've talked about the Leafs on a Puckline News or on a pod. The Leafs are showing me everything I've asked them to show me in the last month of the regular season and this playoff run, because winning is all that matters. Yeah. Getting the fucking win in the playoffs, and they have gotten them. And, dude, in this game, it's so easy, dude, to lose this game. To be like, we're up 3-0, who gives a fuck? Ottawa goes up 2-0 in this game. Leafs battle back. Ottawa goes up 3-2 in the third. Leafs tied up. Leafs outshot the Senators 35-21 in a game that didn't mean shit to the Leafs. That means literally you cannot recreate desperation. It's hard to bottle that up. The Senators have it.
0 for 4 on the power play in this game.
Dude, the fact that this game went to overtime makes me I thought it was going to be a great series too. I said Leafs in 7, and I was like, it's going to be a tilt, which it could still be.
Yeah.
But to me, this is so comfortably over in Game 5. Toronto goes back and goes, thanks for playing, Ottawa. Really appreciate it. And Ottawa fans, by the way, I'm really happy you got to win. I'm really happy you got to win. Build on this. Make the playoffs next year. I love that team. I love Brady Tkachuk. But this, to me, I'm like, Toronto is on another level than they've been in the past, and they are handling themselves in the playoffs the way they haven't in the past.
So here, I have a few things to say about this series. Here's one of my big ones. My question for you is, what the hell is going on in the first and last minute of periods in these playoffs?
Playoffs, yeah.
Like you just mentioned that they go up 2-0, and then with 55 seconds left in the first, you let Tavares score a goal, and it's like, protect the fucking ends of the periods, guys. There's so many different series this is going on, and it's driving me absolutely insane.
Yep.
The other thing I'm going to say is hits drastically in favor of Ottawa in this game.
Which we thought.
And in the series. But you do actually have to ask yourself the question. Yes, this game is in Ottawa. 4 power plays for Montreal, only 2 for Ottawa. Do you wonder, or excuse me, for Toronto, 2 for Ottawa. Do you wonder at some point when you're relying on the physical game and it's not necessarily getting you wins and it's getting the other team so many power play opportunities, dial it back. Like get back into your game. You know, like it's not working that well. You've lost 3 games in a row. You obviously win this one. But at some point you got to be like, dude, if you're not winning games because of winning the physical battle, sometimes you need to reassess. Now my next thing. This was a better game from Linus Ullmark. He was above 900 in his save percentage in this one. Great. You do have to ask the question, when and ever does Linus steal a game for you?
Dude,
he has given up 3 or more goals in every single game in this series. And that's not crazy. That's not, there's 2-3-2 wins, like it is what it is. But when does he go, guys, I got us? They're not fucking scoring. Like, look at all season long he had against this team in particular.
Yep.
When does he go, I got us? I'm going to shut the fucking door. Just go get 3 goals and we've got to win.
Dude, never. He just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, dude. And I legitimately love him. He's an incredible dude. And I think he's an incredibly talented goalie.
Yeah.
But something is happening in his career where it's just like, this is a harder... And this one's tricky because I'm like, the Leafs are way better than you, in my opinion. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, save all the shots. And he's like, well, they're fucking nasty. And I'm doing the best I can. And I played pretty well in this game. Sorry, I gave up 3. Like, that's a winnable game.
Yeah.
But just, I don't know that. I think it would be irresponsible to start expecting that if I'm the Sens or a Sens fan. And I go, well, don't worry. Ullmark's going to pull a rabbit out of his hat soon. I'm like, I don't think that's coming.
Yeah.
I'm sure with a dude like that, it could flip on its fucking head, and he could have a shutout next game and then be like, I'm dialed now, and I'm not going to give anything up. But just I am not going into this expecting him to steal a game.
I don't think I am either, and that is a shit feeling.
Yes.
But if you're him, if you're Linus, that needs to be your North Star right here.
Agreed.
You need to be like, dude, because here's the, and we're next series up, folks. We're going to get into a big conversation about this. Dude, you cannot let this become a narrative. So you need to lock the fuck in and steal a game for your team. Now, everything has looked like it's going well for Toronto. All their big boys are playing well. Look at Tavares.
Matty Nyes, dude. Again.
Like I said,
Jesus
such
Christ.
a factor for this team. Holy shit. You feel good. If you lose game 5.
Dude, someone just said this in the chat. I'm trying to find it. Someone said game 5 is must win for Toronto. And I'm kind of like, I hear where you're coming from.
So I think historically that is must win for them.
Yeah.
Because like if you lose and you're like, oh God, and then you're headed back to Ottawa, that's usually bad news for you guys. I will say this for this Toronto team, even with all the OT wins, it's just felt like they've been in control the whole time.
I know.
So I'm like, honestly, if they lose this game, I'm not that rattled.
What if they get pumped?
Depending on how it goes.
What if they get
pumped?
If
Ottawa beats the wheels off them, then I am like, oh, we've got something going on.
Dude, Spencer says, I saw this stat too. Great poll, Spencer, that the Leafs in the Matthews, Tavares, Nylander era are 1-12 in closeout games.
Yeah.
And like, if that goes to 1-13, and God forbid 1-14, and you're
And God forbid,
and you're at game
1-15.
and you're at game 7,
Yeah.
that is that game 7 is nightmare fuel.
Oh
dude.
my
Like,
gosh.
I know what they always show that. It's like Maple Leaf Square or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they always show that. I expect that to be empty in game 7. Like,
Oh my
literally, don't watch.
Just go watch at
There's
home.
no
Watch at
winning
home.
here, dude.
Watch at home.
It's just such a nightmare. Holy shit.
Taken off the nose, moving on. We have a serious discussion in this series. Jets, Blues. Holy moly. We've got the best team in the league, the President's Trophies winner. They go up to 2 very comfortable wins. And then we get games 3 and 4. And look at that. Those pesky Blues have tied this series 2-2. And we now have, I believe, what is it, CP? 10 of 13 games where Hellebuck has given up 4 or more goals in his playoff
and
career.
it's like 5 that he's given up 5 or more. I want to say this, going back to last time, I think they had just played game 3 when we were on this live, and I said I hated a bunch of things about the Jets. I hated the fighting. I thought it was such fake tough guy bullshit because it went too far. I don't hate scrums, especially when you're like, send a message, we're getting rocked. It was every whistle in the last 10 minutes of the game. And I was like, you're losing 1,000-0, dude. Shut the fuck up. Go to the locker room.
Yeah.
Hated that. And I don't think that worked the way they wanted. It made them look scared to me. And I think the Blues took that mentality. And I hated the Hellebuck pull just because I'm of the Vasi school. And I'm like, just stay in there, dude. It's fucking fine.
You got to be kidding me.
I hated it.
With this guy specifically?
Exactly. They pull every time he's getting lit up. They've pulled him. Try something else.
But the whole MO here is that he's overplayed.
Yep, I know, which is why they did it.
I can't believe.
Hated it.
What's the scenario where you're going to be okay with a goalie getting pulled?
If his leg breaks. If you break his leg,
you're fucking the worst.
Then you pull him.
You're the absolute.
So I will say, though, I don't think the Jets came out and played badly. I thought they actually had a pretty good game. Yep. They were controlling play for a long stretch. They go up 1-0.
Yeah.
The Hellebuck thing, dude, is here's my question to you. Everyone keeps talking about, and I said this, hand up, I brought this up too, that they ride him too hard in the regular season. He's playing too many games. The part I'm kind of not buying about that anymore is it implies that literally he has a ticking time bomb at like 62. So Joe, hear me out. Pretend the regular season just went 4 more games.
Yeah.
Would he have been playing horribly the last 4 games? Or would he be just as sick as he was because they were regular season games?
Yeah.
To me, it's less about literally from game 63, he just falls off a cliff, to no, this game matters now. And people are getting more pucks to the net and whatever. There's a lot of factors. But it's less to me about the my legs are tired and more about something different is happening in playoffs.
I think you are completely correct. Because to me, I mean, guys do get tired, but at the same time, there are people who are paid a lot of money to keep an eye on and keep track of if someone is tired.
Yeah.
And I just think it's bullshit to think that he's just out here completely gassed and no one in the coaching staff is like, get him out.
Yeah.
Like, well, this is insane. So I think it's a cop-out. I think him being so poor in the playoffs, statistically, his whole career.
Yep.
And then these last couple of games, and frankly, game 1.
Yeah.
I think is a cop-out. I think it's something else. I don't know what it is. He's obviously one of the best goalies in the game. He's going to win another Vezina, no question about it. But dude, this is insane. And you're right. The Jets came out strong in this game. They obviously get on the board first. But the second the Blues tied it, it was over.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you blinked and that game was 3-1. And there's something I think too about, you look at that response from the players, and I'm telling you, the players know it.
I know, Dan. We talk about that all the time.
And they're like, oh, fucking here we go.
Yep.
And then it's like goal. And you just get rung up in this game. So the question now is, who do you start in game 5, which is so ridiculous.
Well, okay. So some people are saying, there's so much good stuff in the chat right here. Somebody's saying, do you start Comrie on the road? Because Hellebuck stats are so significantly worse on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And dude, the problem is if you bench Hellebuck, even on the road. Like, let's say they're like, oh, we won game 5 at home, we play Comrie. But no matter what, if you don't play Hellebuck the rest of the way and you lose that game or the series, you get crucified.
100%.
Literally back-to-back Vezina, maybe Hart, which I still think is ridiculous, but back-to-back Vezina, and you sit him and lose to the fucking last team in wild card Blues, no offense, then you're dead. So you literally have to play him. You have no choice.
No choice. Save for a discussion with the coaches and a team psychologist where they leave that meeting and go, this man literally cannot play. You ride him till the wheels fall off. Dude, and that is the only factor, because yes, you are right. It's such a high risk, low reward. If you play Comrie and you win, you're like, what a great call. I'm a genius. But then you're faced with the like, do we play Hellebuck in round 2? It's such a dangerous game. And you just have to trust that your back-to-back Vezina winning goalie can figure his shit out and win a series for you here. But I mean,
what does the wheel? Well, actually, really quickly, Jose says, can your favorite Blues fan get a B-Day shout out? I assume that means him. Happy birthday, Jose. Hell yeah.
Jose. Happy birthday, brother.
What is the wheels coming off to you? Like, straight up, if the Blues win game 5 in Winnipeg 6-1 and Hellebuck gives up 5 goals on fucking 18 shots again, now what in game 6?
If Hellebuck gives up 4 or more goals in game 5 and it's not a close game, if it's a 4-3 barn burner, nothing here. But if it is 4-0 Blues in the second period and you're like, you have to pull him, I think
is that wheels off, dude?
I would think about benching him.
Maybe because someone says, I love this line. Chris says, dance with the girl you brought to the party, which I agree with largely. I'm like, you just got to play him. And in game 5, it's not even a question for me, literally. But I'm not even a question.
I'm telling you, it's not a discussion. He is starting game 5. But I am telling you, if you go down 4-0 at any point in game 5, I have this very, very serious conversation. And frankly, dude, if you go down 3-2 on home ice to St. Louis, the wild card team, and again, that's no disrespect. It's just the optics of it. If you go down 3-2 and your goalie gets lit up like a Christmas tree again, dude, I legitimately have a conversation about starting Comrie in game 6, because if you lose that game, I don't think there's a single fan whose opinion I would care about.
Yeah, right.
That would be like this. You idiots, you blew the series by not starting Hellebuck. I would be like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Look at what has happened. Look at every game we've lost and look how Hellebuck has played. And you're going to tell me that is what did it? Absolutely not.
Even game 1, Dan, he gave up 3 goals on 17 shots or whatever. So it's kind of like, oh man, you're not loving what you're seeing. And Binner has been really locked the last few, by the way, which was always the convo. Like, we've got the hottest goalie in the league.
Phenomenal last game.
Where are you at? Because I had Jets in 5, I think, because I was like, they're just so much better.
I picked Jets in 7 in this.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, this Blues team is so scrappy. They're so dangerous, and Binner is locked in. I think it's going to go to 7. But now I'm like, I mean, this first round, we've said so many times now, has been so electric. And it's because a lot of these series are getting evened up. They're going back and forth. And we keep talking about pressure. All the pressure is on Winnipeg. Now, if you had told me this was going to be 2-2 going into game 5, wouldn't it always be on Winnipeg? But like, no, because they've got home ice. The Blues are a good team. What if these were just good back and forth, trading punches games? 2-1 win here, 3-2 win there. I wouldn't say that all the pressure's on the Jets. This is like, you've got a fucking mental problem now. We're in a fucking asylum here. Dude.
Yeah.
You are in a straitjacket. A prisoner of your thoughts, dude. Sick thoughts.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. The Jets are terrified right now.
Especially because it becomes even more about a Hellebuck thing and the Jets thing. 46 wins 2 years ago, losing the first round. 52 wins last year, losing the first round. 56 wins this year. President's Trophy, Vezina, back-to-back.
Possible losing the first
round. The first round, dude, the Blues. I'm like, dude. And they're the guys like Kyle Connor scored again. Like, it's not, sometimes you're like, oh, our stars vanished. It's not even really happening. But man, I feel so bad for this fan base and this team if they just cave here again. Because I'm like, dude, this is such a horrible look.
It is such a horrible look. So yeah, my final thoughts on this series are, as much as I want to say you ride Helly till the wheels fall off, you start him in game 5, and that is not even up for debate. Frankly, anyone discussing otherwise, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you do not start him game 6 if this is a shit show.
Dan, and what
straight up you don't.
I think you're right. And I like, God, dude, even if you win and he plays horribly, I don't know what I do.
That's a win, dude. It's a win.
Yeah.
The only way you don't start him in game 6, like I said, is if it's 4 or more goals and it's like the game is over.
Yeah.
The game, and by that I mean similar to the Colorado game where it's like it's 3-0 going into the third, and you're like, this is over.
Yep.
If he's given up 4 goals through 2 periods and you are not within 1, I'm like, this guy's benched game.
What
6.
if Jets win 7-6 and he gives up 6 on 20 shots?
That's a
Play
fucking win, dude.
Play
Dub in the column.
Play him.
Dub in the column.
Dan, I'm bummed that so far Helly hasn't been able to bring the Four Nations thing with him. Like we've been talking about so much that it's like, that was what he needed. That was high pressure, all the eyeballs on him, gold medal game against Canada. That's going to get him into that playoff mentality and he'll be fine. And then so far playoffs have started and it's been a fucking nightmare.
It's absolutely horrible. Moving on to one where you were very close to wearing a clown nose.
I'll put it on, dude. I'll put it on
Okay.
still. Are you kidding me? I said Vegas in fucking 4.
Put it on.
You kidding me?
We've got Vegas, Minnesota, all tied up 2-2 after
The Knights are so good. The Knights are the best team in the league. Nobody can beat the Knights. They roll 4 lines. They've got the best D, the best goalie, the top 5 player in the league. Vegas in 4. Absolute clown show, dude.
Yeah. tough sledding, dude.
Yep.
Tough sledding for you. We were able to talk about the 5-2 win on the Friday morning show. And I had mentioned, is there a chance that we are respecting Vegas too much as a society?
Yeah.
As an NHL
it's such a fun city, dude. You get caught up in it.
Are we respecting Vegas too much and just thinking that they are always locked in? And I'll tell you what, Minnesota up 2-1. They come into this game. Vegas gets on the board first, but then Minnesota goes up 2-1 in this game and in the start of the second. And I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
I was like, this is like, I was so prepared. I was prepared to paint your face,
dude,
like a clown.
And
if Minnesota had gone up 3-1.
And we had said if Minnesota wins that game, series over. Over. And I actually couldn't believe the stat. A lot of people have it out there now, but Minnesota has never had a 3-1 series lead in franchise history. And I was like, what? Like, that is so crazy to me. And I was like, well, you got to do it right now. And they're like, still no, dude. 2-2. How are you?
So this one was interesting because you've got this Wild team continues to just bang bodies. I mean, they look so frustrating and difficult to play against, but a lot of back and forth in this game.
Yep.
Vegas up, Minnesota takes the lead. Vegas takes the lead. Minnesota ties it. And then we go to OT. Jack Eichel gets his first assist.
Thank God.
But secondary assist on the power play. He still has no goals. Are you prepared to say something is officially wrong?
Yes. And because Stone finally got an assist too. But I said to you, dude, it's just not enough from them, obviously. And it's now too deep. Yep. Where it's a thing, even if they're not hurt, which I think Jack is, but even if they aren't, sometimes this just happens where you're like, fuck, I don't know what's going on. You're gripping the stick tight. Now you're thinking about it. Now, every time you're out there, you're like, I gotta contribute. Boys counting on me. And that's the exact opposite of what you want to be thinking during playoff games. You want to just go, I'm Jack fucking Eichel and I'll just do whatever I want out here because I'm a top 5 player in the league.
Yeah.
And that's not coming through right now, to the point that I'm like, this Vegas team has to win this series without them. And I don't mean like literally they're never going to get another point. I just mean the rest of Vegas needs to go, boys, we got to nut up and pick up our guys and hope they come back in round 2.
We're more than halfway through, right? Yep. Like you're absolutely right. And Hurdle's been great. He got his 3rd goal of the series. Barbie obviously gets his first, the OT winner. And that was big.
Huge.
Barbashev getting going was like, thank fucking God.
Yep.
But we're more than halfway through this series and Jack Eichel and Mark Stone are very quiet.
Yeah.
And that's the difference maker, right?
Yep.
You're absolutely right. You just kind of said it. It's if you're Vegas and you want to win this series, you are almost operating right now thinking, yeah, we have to do it without them.
Yep.
If you're going to get past this team, this way better than we gave them credit for, Minnesota team, we have to do it without our biggest guys. And that is a terrible feeling.
Yes, man. Austin says last 2 playoff series for the Wild, they were leading 2-1, then lost in 6. That's a good stat poll.
Yep.
I want to give Vegas some credit here, though. And I say that by going, you have been outplayed this entire series by a team that I still think is worse than you, but not by much. Someone said it last chat that was like, they may be better, but they don't have as much heart, which I agreed with. But this, in that building, with the way XL is going fucking batshit insane, going down in this game 2-1, entering the third period, 20 minutes away from, in my opinion, this series being fucking done in that building. Them coming back, and obviously I know they gave up the lead, but them coming back and taking the lead in a really hostile environment against a fucking very good team who has been outplaying you. That was actually a little bit of fight from Vegas that I wasn't even sure we were getting. Like I thought there was a chance that 2-1 lead. I was like, here you go, dude, pet the belly. See you later.
Yeah.
And the fact that they came back there gives me a little confidence in, I guess I got to say, I need to keep my Vegas is going to win this series pick, but I am now like, this is 7 for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too. Crazy power play swing here. 0 for 2 for Minnesota, 2 for 5 for Vegas.
Yep.
Like getting 5 in Minnesota was shocking. 46 shots. Gus was massive in this game. And that's one where if you're Gus, you're not like, fuck you boys. But like when you make that many saves, you do want the win. You know, it's brutal, but
you use it as a positive for both, right? Like if I'm Vegas, I go, we pumped 46 shots on them. And you look at the period breakdown, it's like just consistent onslaught, great game. But if you're the Wild, I go, dude, Gus is fucking locked in. We're money. Like, I wish we'd won that game, but I have no worries with him going forward.
I don't have worries with Gus. I've never felt that way. I've never felt a loss where your goalie plays amazing. You're like, I feel good, dude. Our goalie's I think it's the worst feeling in the world.
You're like, fuck, we blew it.
Because you're like this. He did his only job.
Yeah.
And we fucking blew it for him. I think that's always brutal. But again, you're all tied up. And I think even with an OT win, I give Minnesota the momentum. Minnesota, two huge wins in games 2 and 3, games where they punched you in the mouth.
Yep.
And people were like, holy fuck, we've been underestimating this team. And then sure, it was a loss on home ice, but Vegas has to scrap through a 46-shot OT win to get it tied up. Your guys are going. Kirill is out of control. Spurgeon gets his first. Rossi's scoring. Foligno has 3.
Yeah.
It's like if you're Minnesota, I think you feel fantastic right now. And then the big one, again, whether it be injury or not, you have found a way to shut down Jack Eichel and Mark Stone.
Yep.
Minnesota feels good.
But I still think, though, I don't think Vegas is scared either. Like, I think they're going, I have fucking 2 out of 3 at home, and we're better.
Yeah.
I thought Hill was pretty good in that game, too, which you really need, by the way.
Was.
Like, you actually really need that because he's going to be outplayed by Gus, in my opinion, in pretty much every game, but it just needs to be by this much.
Yeah.
Because if it's by a lot, and you fucking are getting lit up, I don't think you can light up Gus. Like, Vegas can't win a game in 5-4 in this series, I don't think, with the way Gus is playing.
Before we move on, does the chat have anything else about this?
Let's see. Chat out here saying, someone just said, can Hill keep up with Gus? Good question. Hill looks so awkward in net. He doesn't look confident. I kind of agree with that. To me, honestly, though, in the 2 Vegas losses, it was sloppy turnovers that were leading to goals more than I was like, Hill's just getting beat on shots from the point or whatever. And I thought Vegas cleaned that up a bit in this game. Obviously, they still gave up 3. But if they do that, sometimes hockey can be simple. I'm literally like, if you stop turning the puck over, if you're Vegas, you'll just win this series. And that was always more my issue with what was going on here. But people are fired up about Kirill, and I couldn't agree more. Incredible performance already.
All right, let's move on to the next game, or penultimate game of this episode.
2 huge ones here.
Yeah, 2 huge ones. And this one, I know a lot of people have been waiting in the chat to talk about. A lot of our West Coasters sitting here waiting to talk about this one. Kings, Oilers. We got a game on Friday night. We had a game last night, both at Rogers Place, which I said is a different building. And the series is now tied 2-2. We had one crazy one on Friday. Kings had the lead in the third, fell apart, and then an OT win for the Oilers last night.
You have some spicy shit about this.
I don't even know where to start, frankly. We can start with the Friday game. First game in Edmonton.
Yep.
Everyone knew they were going to come out hot, come out firing, and they did just that. They get Nuge on the board for his first, Bush on the board for his first 2-0 lead, but then Kempe, the Oiler killer, gets his 4th of the series. Huge for LA to make it just a 1-goal deficit going in the second, but then it was boom, boom. Fiala, Doughty, then a crazy Connor Brown goal to tie it up, and then Trevor Moore with a nasty 1-5-hole goal. And the Kings go into the third with a lead. This is where the discussion and discourse of this series will kick off.
Yep.
I woke up this morning, and we're talking about Friday's game.
Yeah, dude.
But I woke up this morning still in disbelief. Now, let me be clear. Obviously, we have love for the Kings. I love that the Oilers won this game.
Yep.
Because it's more entertainment. It's more hockey. We have a 2-2 series now with two teams that hate each other. That is just fucking awesome. It's electric. I'm thrilled about it. But we do need to discuss how insane the coaching performances from the LA Kings have been. In game one, the Kings have a 5-3 lead in the third period. Chance at an empty net. They miss it. Goal.
Miss it 10 times.
10 times. Yeah. Gets tied up 5-5, and they miraculously get a Phil Deneau goal that gets them the win in game one. But they were in that position in game one because Hiller decided to go to the 1-3-1, sit back on their heels, and just try to defend, try to survive. I can't think of a worse fucking team that has ever existed in NHL history to try to sit back on your heels against in a third period with a lead than a team that has Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Yep.
And it absolutely ass fucked you in game one.
Yep.
And you are lucky
to have won that
win.
Yep.
We left that barn and we were like, Jesus Christ, the Kings just clutched not just this game, the series loss out of the jaws of defeat.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh my God, and somehow got that goal. Then in game two, you learn your lesson. You have a lead in the third. It gets to 3-2, but you just kept playing hockey.
Mm-hmm.
You kept battling, and then they just go goal, 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 which I think we can all agree, watching this series, the Kings are the better team.
Yep.
Certainly 5v5. And they kept playing, and then they win 6-2. And then in game three, they started that third period, and you could just tell.
Yeah.
You were like, oh my God, are you guys just going to let Edmonton ram this down your fucking throat and just pray to God you survive? And that's exactly what they did. And then they get a sketchy goal on the Evander Kane goal. But I'm here to tell you, good goal.
Agree.
Anyone
Someone said
who
he kicked it. Yeah.
You're wrong. He did not kick he did kick the puck, but it then hit his stick.
Yep.
There was no goalie interference, and that's where we'll get into this.
Dude,
I have never seen a more batshit insane goalie interference challenge than that one by Jim Hiller.
Dude, it makes no sense. I don't even understand the logic.
We just watched Toronto, as in like the control room.
Yeah.
Watch that goal for almost 20 minutes to figure out if Evander Kane didn't touch the puck. If anything, you don't think that in that sequence they might have gone. The ref literally came out and went, the Edmonton player did kick the puck, but theatrics.
Yep.
He then hit it with his stick. If they're looking at it and they're going to that extent in the official review, you don't think that they would go, there was goalie interference on the play, no goal.
And I guess I don't know if they would have done that, because I think if you haven't challenged that specifically.
I don't either. So I said you don't think. I don't know that, but I'm saying probably fucking likely.
Yeah.
You have literally the people who are paid to review calls looking at it for almost 20 minutes, and they go, it's a good goal. And then you go, it's tied.
It tied, dude.
It's a tie game. You have beat this team 2 games in a row. You're beating the shit out of them this game, save not for the disastrous third period tactics that you have.
Yep.
And it's tied, and you show momentarily a complete lack of faith in your players. And you go, we have to challenge this. We have to challenge this and risk giving Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl a power play because it's tied.
Yeah.
Insane.
Absolutely insane.
And what's funny too is we talked about online. We got on Twitter. We got on the Bird and talked about how insane that challenge was. And there were some people who were like, no, it's interference. And I get it, dude. Fandom, we're going to talk more about that in this series. You're desperate at times.
Yep.
Everyone in the hockey world, as far as media, was unified in how astounded they were.
Yep.
I'm here to tell you, I'm not going to name names. I was texting people from various shows, from various networks till 3 a.m, being like, what was that decision? Utterly insane.
It's insane. And especially because, to your point, or I guess in their defense, that's a really volatile rule. Like sometimes I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like I'm wrong 70% of the time when I watch the replay. So who fucking knows? They could have been like, actually, yeah, sorry for the 20-minute review about the kick. Yeah. It was goal interference and we're all good here. So in their defense, fine. But just to your point, dude, just beat them. Just beat them. Like you are better. You've been beating them. You can do it. Just beat them. I don't need it. I thought that was so crazy. Everyone in the chat well, some people are split on the chat, but everyone is being like, it's the turtling in the third period. It's the turtling in the third period from the Kings, which is a fucking joke. Yeah. Going to the 1-3-1 or whatever it is. Someone was like, I actually think they should just go down and go into the third trailing, because then you can just play hard and beat the Oilers, which I actually love that take.
Yeah.
For me, dude, you had said something to me. I didn't know if you were going to go here or not, so I won't completely quote you. But the way the Kings, the fact that we're 2-2 now, with the way they've lost, is has to be extremely disappointing.
It's horrible.
Yeah. To the point that I think I was looking at the series, this one, because there's a couple of really exciting ones in Vegas and Minnesota, in Winnipeg and St. Louis. This is the most important of all the game fives, in my opinion. This game five is literally must-watch playoff hockey television, because if you lose this game, if you're the Kings, with your home ice record and all that shit, and you have to go back to Edmonton, after having lost 3 in a row, I think it is like you're going to spin off this fucking planet, and it's a nightmare.
I believe this series only goes 7 if the Kings win game 5.
Okay. And do you think it goes 7 if they win game 5? Or are you like, no, they could win game 6?
It depends on how this game goes. Yes, I do think that. But yeah, this only goes 7 if the Kings win.
Yeah. I think a lot of people too in the chat have been saying that the Kings aren't playing their fourth line. They're only playing 3 lines, 2 D pairs. When it gets tough, they're getting tired. And the reason I actually love those comments, chat, thank you for that, is because if you have one strength over this Oilers team, it is how much deeper you are. Yeah. The Oilers have 2 players. And that's so mean, but you know what I'm saying? Like, we watch them out there and I'm like, there's 2 guys really making a massive impact here. The Kings should just be rolling lines into oblivion, and then maybe you're less tired in the third period and you can give it a little bit more effort and stop having this situation, because that is what is absolutely killing you. Someone asks, and this has come up a couple times, is it similar to Marner in Toronto? Is it cup or bust for McDavid in Edmonton?
No. I mean, I personally, I don't think, Connor McDavid is going to get his cups. I don't think it's this year. Even if they beat the Kings, I don't think it's this year. Connor McDavid is going to get his cups. It's going to be multiple. And I don't think Leon Draisaitl extends there. Like, so many people are being like, oh, McDavid's fed up, he's not going to extend. Connor McDavid feels like a sink with the ship type of guy.
Yeah.
There's no worry of him leaving.
I actually thought last year, if they lost to Vancouver last year, I thought there was a chance for some real fireworks. Some real fireworks. Yeah.
But getting back into the series, we obviously go to game 4. Kings start. They get on the board first. We've also got Skinner being yanked now.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
Pickard starting.
Played both, right?
Yep. In both. Again, Kings should have won game 3. No doubt about it. Should have won game 3. They choke with that awful call, lose. Pickard starts game 4. I thought he was fantastic in the first period.
Yeah.
Thought he was fantastic. Made a few insane saves, but Trevor Moore gets them on the board first. They have a 1-0 lead going into the second. Fogle scores. And then Edmonton gets a power play. There's been a lot of annoying talk online.
Yeah.
And it's funny because someone called me out on Twitter, which I appreciate. And we'll get into that. Because I was like, fans need to shut the fuck up in every series, but particularly this one. And I say this as Edmonton. We spent a lot of time up there. You guys are great. So passionate. So awesome. Edmonton fans doing a lot of complaining about the power plays. They're like, it's skewed. LA has more power. Dude, when you get fist fucked 6-2, you're usually playing dumb and taking stupid penalties. So that it's not always going to be evened up, especially if there's lopsided games like there have been. And game 1 was lopsided. There were 2 miracle goalie pull goals at the end. That game wasn't as close to as it looked. So that's a huge factor in that. But they get this power play, is what it is, score. But then Fiala comes in, huge goal. You have a 3-1 lead going into third.
The series in the balance, dude. The entire series in the balance.
Before the period even started, if you went online, everyone's saying the same thing. There's no chance that Hiller sends the Kings out exactly like he has in game 1 and 3, right? Immediate.
Here come the Oilers.
1-3-1. Just sit back on your heels and pray to fucking God. And
unfortunately, God plays for the other fucking team, so he's not going to help you right now.
Legitimately, I can't believe it. I cannot fucking believe it. And then, boom, Evan Bouchard gets a goal just before the halfway mark. Kind of a greasy one that I'm like, I mean, I thought Kemper was fantastic in this game.
So I was gonna ask
Shout out
you.
Kemper,
Yeah.
just named Vezina
Yeah.
finalist, as he deserves. He was fantastic, but that goal goes in and you're like, okay, we're still fine. And then for the next 10 plus minutes, they just do the same fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Kuzmenko gets benched.
Dude.
Trevor Lewis getting more minutes. Like you were actively going, hey, we're abandoning our game that has beat the shit out of this Oilers team for 2.5 periods a game.
Yeah, correct. 2/3 of every fucking game. Yep.
And they just go, we're going to just keep doing it. Yeah, you guys just scored because we're sitting back. We're going to keep on.
Yes, dude, let's do it again.
But you somehow survive, pull the goalie. We're not going to sue anyone, but Quentin Byfield absolutely knows he has to get that puck out. That changed the game.
Yep.
You have the goalie pulled. There's less than a minute. Quentin Byfield gets the puck on his stick with tons of room, and he kind of tries to cheekily get around Bouchard, gets it poked off his stick, kept in, boom, another Bouch bomb.
Yep.
By the way, what a hilarious back and forth Bouchard has had with Oilers fans.
Yeah.
Like for the first 2 periods of that game, they're like, what is this loser's contract going to be next? This guy fucking stinks, blah, blah, blah. And then he just saves you.
Yeah, now he's a hero.
Everyone's like this. Love
He's
him,
become a
love him.
monster again, dude. Yeah. It's such a tough one to swallow for the Kings. And I think you're so right in terms of I don't hate their game when they're just playing their game.
I love their how could you not love their game? They're beating the shit out of this Oilers team.
And
beating
the
shit out of
goalie shit is so crazy too, because it's like even with the goalie switch in Edmonton, you're still getting your goals. And Kemper, and you look at the shots, I think the Oilers had 40 something shots last game. Kemper is playing well, but it's 5 and 4 back to back, and then 5 in game 1, 2, right? So I'm kind of like, it's so weird because sometimes I watch him with my eyes and I'm going, Kemper's playing pretty well. Yeah. But I feel as though it's unfair for us to talk about him, not the way we're talking about Ullmark, maybe, where I'm kind of like, but you are giving up 3 every game,
I kind of disagree. I think Kemper was insane in this game. Like he made so many huge fucking saves, 48 shots.
Yeah, it's closer to the Gus performance like last night where I'm like, you lost 4-3 in overtime, but you played awesome.
Was good too, and that's scary if you're a Kings fan. You're a little bit like, oh shit. And the last thing I want to talk about is the penalties. As I mentioned, I made a statement. I love that Oilers win this because it's just more entertaining. This is so fun. And you love seeing Connor McDavid play, and Leon obviously too. I hate the penalty call.
Yep.
And I'm so curious how fans are so blind one way or the other. That's not shitting on any fan base. Yeah. Everyone does it. Gavrikov literally has that puck. He is the puck carrier.
Yeah, yeah.
And Connor McDavid runs into the back of Gavrikov's leg and goes down. And I'm like, how do you call that?
I know.
Like so many people are like, it's a slew foot. And I'm like, well, Connor's leg hits the back of Gavrikov's
slew footing him.
Gavrikov's stick never touches him. And listen, Connor Brown's stick got slashed in half and broken in the third period. That's a penalty. How do you not call that? People wanted a trip on McDavid. I thought that was soft. But then there's another one. Edmondson gets clearly tripped at the end of that game with a minute left that the Oilers then score. Like that's game over.
Yeah, right.
And that was a clear as day trip. If you want that slash, there's that. So it's been bad all series. But also some respect to the refs. It's hard, dude. Like you miss shit all the time. But there's been bad shit back and forth. And that's where I was saying, I need fans to stop fucking pissing and moaning. Every single fan base in these playoffs thinks their team is getting shit. Right. Every single one of you does. So just stop. Just watch the game. Enjoy the game. The one thing where someone called me out was like, dude, you're contradicting yourself. Because I say that, and then I complained about a call. The difference is I'm not complaining about a call for any team. Mm-hmm. I know it was a call against LA, so you could say I'm lobbying for LA. LA lost this game on their own.
You sure did.
They didn't need it. Frankly, if Edmonton didn't get that power play, Edmonton was winning that game anyway. So whatever. My point is making a soft and I will die on this hill. A soft bad call in OT with 2 minutes left in the OT period is fucking ass cheeks. It's just bad. And we know some refs in the league very well who say the only thing in the world that they would like to not do in overtime is have to make a
call penalty.
And that one was not you got to call that.
Didn't need it. No, it's delay game, high stick, and the occasional trip. Where you're like, bro,
clear as day.
Yeah.
So Can't do that. Do we need to go to the chat or do we move
No,
on?
no. The chat's good. Everyone's been largely in agreement with this. People are pissed about the refs.
Yeah. Don't be pissed about the refs,
Yep.
dude. Like if you're an Oilers fan, don't be pissed about the refs. You got some huge power plays that won you a game.
Yep.
If you're a Kings fan, don't be pissed about the refs because your team is losing you games, not the refs.
Yeah.
Last game that we have to get into, Cats Bolts.
Woo!
Holy shit. We talked on Friday. We obviously had the crazy Hagel hit that led to a suspension. Then we go into game 4, no Hagel. Holy moly. Can Tampa figure this out? And boy, did they.
Boy, did they. And you got another, I will add, great game from Vasi because he played really good in the Game 2 loss. And then you finally get to Bob a little bit, the Tampa guy.
I think more than a little bit.
Agree.
Bad game.
Yep,
Like,
bad games. And now you're kind of 1-1, right? Like they've both played 2 good games and have been lit up once. And you're weirdly like, if you could just get into the mentality of we split. If you're Tampa and you're like, well, we split at home. And like, I just got to get this win. And it was going to be 2-2 anyway. You know, you kind of like was 1 win away from completely washing this whole thing out. But if you're Florida, you have also like, dude, we just have to get 1 win at home and we're in the driver's seat. So they're not that worried. But I think it was good even before what we're about to talk about. I think it was just good for the series, good for Tampa to be like, we're here, dude. Fuck you. Like, you think you were just going to roll over?
Sure.
People, dude, the Panthers fans in the chat were like, sweep, dude. Fucking little brother clown show.
Dude.
Yeah, so they got cocky.
I know it's just chirping, but calling Tampa little brother when they have 2 cups and went to 3 straight and you have won your first. It's like, calm down, guys. Relax. Relax.
So I think that was good that we're in one already. Okay. And then I'm watching the empty netter and like in real time, it was so crazy because I was trying to watch where the puck went.
Before we even get to that, can we talk about the intensity of if you're Tampa and you're like, we're without Hagel, we need to win this game, and Kachuk scores the first goal of the game?
Yeah, such a good point.
You're like, are you fucking? We're
getting swept.
Like,
yep.
I think I even tweeted, like, I was joking, but I mean, it's funny to say that in hindsight. But I was like, is Tampa dead, dude? Like, oh my god, like you need this win, and then your boogeyman scores the first of the game. Crazy.
And you're like, we're done here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, massive response. I think they were, I'm trying to see how much they were up in the first.
It was tied after.
It was tied after one. Okay. Yeah. So, and then they really stepped on the gas in the third.
Yeah.
But yeah, so unbelievable response from Tampa. You get the empty net. I'm watching it live and I just see someone get steamrolled in the middle of the ice. And in live, it was even hard to tell who got hit, who did it. And dude, when it just cut to Kachuk and he's like doing the keep your head up thing, I was like, this is going to be fucking chaos moving forward. What did you think of the hit?
I'm going to stay consistent here, dude.
Yep.
We released a clip that obviously got a lot of traction talking about the Hagel hit. And, we said it's a penalty. I understand at the end of the game, end of the game, kicking him out. We said it was probably going to be a suspension, but didn't agree with it. And ultimately, I thought it was a clean hit. I thought it was just unlucky that Barkov didn't touch the puck and whatever. We're not going to talk about that one.
Yep.
I'm going to stay consistent. This was a clean hit. I'm shocked at how up in arms people are. And I get it. I get the competition and I get fandom. You lost one of your guys to suspension when, in my opinion, he shouldn't have been suspended.
Especially because Barkov's okay.
Yep. And now you're like, eye for an eye, bitch.
Yep.
Dude, someone on Twitter was like, this hit came 2 to 4 seconds late. And I was like, that's an insane exaggeration.
4 is crazy.
And the same person replied and was like, the hit happened at like 55, or the pass happened at 55 seconds and the hit happened at 57. And I was like, yeah, so 1 to 2.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, good point. Dude, finishing your check is a real thing in hockey.
Yep.
Did Gensel have the puck on his stick? No. But dude, I'm going to be honest. I think Jake Gensel would I know the game's over. That's the big one, right? People are like, the game's over. It's an empty net. But I think Jake Gensel would admit in that scenario, in an NHL game, let alone a playoff game, after, like, with that time that had left since he made that pass, you have to keep your head up. And it was a clean as a whistle.
Yep.
Body check. And Gensel's head hits the ice a little bit and like he like kind of covered his face, but he's fine.
Yep. He got right back up.
Tough customer. He got right up.
Yep.
But like he did cover his face and that wasn't embellishment. Like he was like,
it hit. It snapped. Yeah.
It was a clean body check, dude. And I love the calls by the ref of going, penalty and get out. There's 5 minutes. Just get out.
Go away.
Game's over.
Yeah.
I love when refs do that. It's policing the game, folks. Like some people, they're like, how do you get kicked out for that? And I'm like, because the game's over and they're just policing it. I like that move. He didn't even have a hearing. And I understand the eye for eye complaints, but dude, I don't think that hit was that late. It was clean as fuck. So I'm like, it shouldn't have been a suspension.
Dude, so I'm with you. I thought so a couple things on the lateness, because people, when I posted the reaction, the comment section of that is fucking chaos. And everyone's like, 3 games, sussy. And I'm like, oh, dude 3 games.
Insane. But again, I understand the competitiveness.
Yep. So I was talking to a buddy of ours this weekend because we were watching the game and he was asking me about late hits. And I do think there's an interesting discrepancy of how late a hit can be where the player is. So for example, if you chip one behind me and you go, you chip one behind me, I'm a defenseman, I go trying to get it, and I go like this. I get it in the corner, I rim it up to my winger, and it's like a full 1 Mississippi, 2, and then you just crunch me against the boards, completely fine. Yep. No one is ever going to call that interference. But open ice, I pass one, and it's 1 Mississippi, 2, and then you smoke me, they do call it interference.
Yeah.
So I do think that's slightly unfair, but it's been pretty consistently called that always. So it's not like news to Matthew Tkachuk that he's like, well, it's not fair in the corner. You knew. He knew, in fact. And I'm not saying he was trying to hurt anybody, but I am telling you, he was like, this is late. Like when he did that, he wasn't like, this is a perfectly legal hit. When he hit him there, I guarantee Matthew Tkachuk was like, I might get called for this.
Yeah, he was ready for a response. Yeah. No doubt about it. You're absolutely right. But I don't know, man. Like it wasn't that late. Am I crazy?
I think you are.
It was slightly late.
Fair.
Slightly late.
But if this is the line of where I would call it, it's not even a conversation to me if it was past the line. I do think people are saying it was so late. I'm like, no, it was barely late, but it was 1,000,000% too late. I call that every single time.
Which I agree with, which is why it was a penalty and why I'm glad he got tossed. Yep. But it's like people wanting a suspension for that. Yeah. Like, dude.
And dude, he does not use, there's no hearing. Like it's been announced. He's no fine, no hearing. He's playing game 4, which I agree with too.
Again, man, like the slow-mos make these so stupid.
I know.
Like if you watch that real time, like you're not going, oh my God, that was so late. You're like, ooh. And that's when I'm like, we're suspending a guy for this.
Yeah, no, agree.
And I do get the frustration because once you set a precedent, you have to stay to it. But I actually don't like that sometimes because I'm here to say, again, I did not like the Hagel suspension. Mm-hmm. I thought it was too aggressive. So if you now do this and you go, Tkachuk suspended, which feels fair, eye for eye, but now I'm like, this is out of control, dude.
You know,
and I do also want to say, I don't like, when did we get to this place? And like, shame on, not to call anyone out, but whoever the fuck that was on Montreal, who was literally like crying in the locker room, being like, I guess you don't call games the same for every team. After the Wilson hit. I'm like, you mean the clean Wilson hit? Yeah. Shut up. I don't know when we as fans started begging for suspensions all the time.
Yeah.
Like, stop. That's not how this should go. Game 4 with Hagel and Tkachuk both on the ice. That's what you want.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. And I'll stop saying it after this. I understand the desire for the eye for an eye.
Yep. A lot of people in here being like, I didn't agree with the Hagel suspension, but if you suspend him, you got to suspend Tkachuk. Yeah. That's a very popular theme in this chat right now. But
I will say, and if you can't see this objectively, the Hagel hit was worse.
Yep.
If you can't see it, it was barely worse.
Yep.
But if you can't see that, I think you're being, you have blind bias.
Even though I have argued the puck was way closer to Barkov than people are implying.
Way closer.
He never had it. No. Gensel had the puck. And dude, Gensel would tell you, if he was just being honest with you, you said this at the top, he 1,000% should have picked his head up.
Yeah.
Like there was an empty netter. So he pushed it forward to be like, sick, we're about to win. And I was like, turn around, dude. Like,
and that's all it was.
Yeah.
Like, I think he'd be like, oh yeah. I mean, like I wasn't paying attention because we had won.
Yeah.
Yep. It was 4-1.
Yep.
And did they get one after that? Or I think
that was the empty netter. No, I think that was the empty netter. It was the rare 3-goal lead pull. Yeah. I was thrilled about it.
It was 4-1.
Yeah.
Gensel had just scored. It's now 4-1. There's 5 minutes left. And he's like, and icing up. Like he definitely let it. He's like, whatever. But it's one of those things we always talk about. Got to know who's on the ice, dude. You have to know who is on the ice. Like say that Montreal play. It's like Tom Wilson's on the ice. Be aware of that.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, Tkachuk's going to go for a cheap hit, especially or not a cheap hit, sorry, but like a borderline hit. It's what he does. So yeah, I get it, but it is what it is.
Dude.
So,
And I reacted because of the video I posted is my live reaction. You hear me you scream, but it's because live, it looked so high. Like live, I thought it was just like a torpedo to the head. But when you watch replay, it's literally bang. Yeah. Dead body.
His elbow couldn't be more stapled to his body. It's just a good body check. But again, it was a penalty. And I'm glad it shook out like it is. But hopefully now we can go and like the refs, more importantly, can go, we're done here. Like we're not, no one's fucking owing anyone anything. Let's play.
What do you think happens between Tkachuk and Hagel game 4? Both in.
I'll say this, we know certain things, we know other things, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. I think based on just watching the game, you can see from game 1, Hagel's been asking for it. Yep. And I don't mean like he's been asking for fights.
Literally saying, I'll go.
Hagel is stepping up to the plate, being like, I'll go. I'll go with anyone. This is kind of a lame take by me. I'm not the biggest fan of fighting in playoffs.
Yeah.
All the teams are so good. I just want to see them play hockey.
Me too.
But it's a part of hockey and it's entertaining. I don't want to see Hagel or Tkachuk fight anyone but each other.
Agree completely.
So it's either they go and we get 4 Nations round 2 in game 4 or later. But other than that, I don't want to see anything.
Yep. And I would add too, if you're going to do it, just fucking do it. Because I agree with you. I want to see them play. And I think part of it, which is why it's a part of hockey, is I want that to just be everyone. We can be done with any eye for an eye, cheap shots. It's like, listen, our 2 champions are going to go out and fight. And then enough of this, enough of like any high, late interference fucking hits. You don't owe us. We don't owe you. They fought. It's over. Let's fucking play. We're 2 of the best teams in the league.
Yeah. I made the joke last Friday. I was like, Chuck's probably saying no. Like he's getting in his head.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to flip the script. In my opinion, if I were Hagel, I wouldn't go.
Oh, really?
I don't think I would. And I'll tell you why. Because 1, you've been asking for it. You stepped up.
Yeah.
From what it looks like. And 2, don't take yourself off the ice.
I know, dude.
Even if you get Tkachuk off the ice, I'm like, dude, that was a huge win. Vasi's locked in. It's the Tom Wilson hit. Like so many people after the Habs win, people were like, we're in Tom Wilson's head. We got him. And then Tom Wilson keeps himself on the ice, makes a huge fucking hit and gets his team a win. If I'm talking to Hagel, if I'm in his locker room, I'm like, dude, you have been a beast all season.
Just keep doing that.
Lock the fuck in and score a back-breaking goal. That's better than a fight.
Yeah.
Him scoring gets that fan base going more than a fight.
Agree.
If you're also
Tkachuk,
in Florida.
Yeah.
Like it's not the same thing. Like if it behooves Tkachuk to fight in Florida.
Now.
Getting those
before
fans
it
going.
didn't really, but now it does.
But specifically because the game's
in Florida. Yep.
Like if I'm Hagel, I'm like, no way, dude. Not no way. Because he's a fucking tough customer. He'll always answer the bell. And so will Tkachuk for the most part. But like, I think it is the better move to just be like, I'm beating you on the ice, dude. I think that's a fucking mess.
That was going to be my question. And because presumably, we don't know anything for sure, but presumably maybe Hagel's been offering and Tkachuk's been turning it down. So I see no issue with Hagel returning the favor in saying no if Tkachuk were to ask. Yeah. But I just feel like Hagel would do, like if Tkachuk asks him. I agree, don't go out and search out, but I think if Tkachuk asks him, Hagel will go, yeah, done.
And we don't know if anyone's said no to any fights. Yep. Like we're just saying, like it looks, watching the games, it looks like Hagel's been up for it. Mm-hmm. And Tkachuk, he's like doing the I want you thing. I want you. So like everyone's going back and forth. But yeah, like if I'm Hagel, my mentality is you've been one of the best players all season. Yeah. Go do it on the ice.
Yeah. Go beat them. Even this series, go back to Tampa with the fucking home ice back. And go fuck off.
And yeah, I mean, like I picked Tampa, but I want it to be very clear. I love both these teams and fan bases. Florida fans, you know how much we rode with you guys all last year. Who doesn't want this to go 7?
What do you think now?
I think that game even things up big time.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to go win in Florida if you're Tampa.
Yep.
And like you have to win this game.
I know, because I think you're still fucked.
You have to win this game. They've obviously shown they can win, but if you lose, you go back to Tampa. There's nothing stopping you from winning that game and then going in Florida and winning again in game 7. But you got to win this game. You got to keep the momentum.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. That's it for us. A nice 90-minute Puckline News Live brought to you by BetMGM. Unbelievable stuff, guys. We're going to be dialed in watching the games again tonight. As you all know, We'll be recording late night tonight, covering those games today. Podcast comes out tomorrow morning. So stay dialed with us every single day. We're giving you morning hockey content. Podcast Tuesday, Thursday, lives Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And we'll post these as videos.
Yes,
if you
we
missed
will.
the live, they'll be up on our page. You can
Yep.
find them there. You won't miss a single game, won't miss a single shift of action.
No, you will not. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on IG, Twitter, all social, so you don't miss a thing. This has been a fucking blast. We can't wait to watch more hockey with you.
Skate hard.